Okay. Okay, so let's begin. So this week we're going to be exploring our warriors. And so if you have a couple of blocks, have them handy. If you do not have that, have a chair at the end of your mat with the back facing you, facing your mat. I will also show you options for doing it without these props, but you will get the best Warrior 3 using the props. All right, so we're working on our warriors because it seems to me like periodically we need to wake up our inner warrior, right? And the story of Lord Shiva and the creation of the warriors is a wonderful one because it shows how he teaches us a lesson of never letting your anger turn into hatred, never letting your hatred turn into vengeance. So very short story is that Shiva and his wife's father did not get along. They hated each other. Her father did something that disgraced her and Shiva. And so she was so mortified that she threw herself into a fire and killed herself. Shiva was so outraged and so angry that he brought the warriors up from into being to avenge his wife's death and killed her father. But then he could not bear that his wife was still not there. So to what end did he exact vengeance? So he called upon the other gods for help, and he was they helped him, but basically this is about how he used his inner divinity, his own powers, to bring her back to life, and he even brought her father back. That's the very short version of the story. But again, it teaches us a lesson. You can read it many, many different ways, but for me, it shows us how we can come to our own, we can meet our own challenges without having to turn things into the wrong emotions. So let's close our eyes, come inside, and focus on your breath. Deepen your breath and think about breathing in courage. And exhale and think about letting go of judgment. Breathe in your life force, exhale, and let go of anything that gets in your way of all those negative emotions. After your next exhale, return to your natural rhythm of breathing and open your eyes to come back into the room. So we're going to start this practice on our back. So come on down. We're going to start with a full body stretch. So send your arms overhead, back behind you, reaching for the wall opposite your fingers and your toes going in the opposite direction. And just stretch, big stretch. And release. We'll do another stretch. Bring both of your feet to the mat. Thread your right foot behind your left foot. Place your right knee on the mat. Reach for your right foot with your left hand. If your reach won't take you all the way to your foot, then lift your right knee so that you can get your foot a little closer to your hand, and then replace your knee to the mat. If it's still too far, then simply send your left fingers toward your right toes, reaching and stretching. Your right arm stays alongside your right ear. Your left knee is reaching up to the sky. You're going to press your left foot into the mat, keeping your knee reaching for the mat. Going to lift your left hip and send your right arm straight back behind you. Lift it up and stretch. And then bring your hip back down to the mat. Let's do that once more. Lift your left hip and stretch, big stretch. And place your hip back down. Release your feet, both of them, both feet on the mat. Arms up overhead. Thread your left foot behind your right. Reach for your left foot with your right hand. And again, lift your legs into your chest if that makes it easier to reach your foot. Press your right foot into the mat, knee to the sky. Send your left arm, which is overhead, send it, your fingers all the way to that wall behind you as you lift your right hip. And then bring it back down to the mat. One more time, lift your right hip, stretch your arm goes one way, your right knee moving to the ceiling, foot to the mat, and release. Unthread and send both of your legs straight out on the mat. Going to walk both your feet over to the right. Maybe they'll come off your mat just a bit. Your arms are going to be overhead. And then you're going to send your arms to the right and your shoulders will come with you a little bit so that you're making the shape of the letter C. You're making this beautiful curve with your whole body, stretching your left side body and curling your right side body. Bring your arms and shoulders back onto the mat, your feet back onto the mat, your legs. And we'll do that on the other side. So walk your feet to the left and your arms and shoulders to the left, making that C shape. And then you will bring everything back to center. Bring your arms down alongside your arms for a moment. And we're going to do a pelvic rock. And what that means is you're going to rock over your sacrum so that you're sending your sacrum all the way to the mat so that it's flat, there's no arch, and then lifting it up, sending your pelvic crest up into the air and then back down, and you'll go back and forth, lifting it up and down. And then let it come down and relax. You're going to bring both your knees into your chest. Going to take hold of your right knee. Send your left knee straight out over the mat, hovering over the mat. And then you're going to switch. You bring your left knee in and your right leg hovers over the mat. And then you're going to go back and forth, stretching your leg away and make an effort so that the sole of your foot is attempting to stand on the wall in front of it, and go back and forth a few times. Make it even on each side, same number. And then bring both knees, when you're done, bring both knees into your chest. Release your arms. Send your feet to the ceiling. And you're going to scissor your legs, having your right leg come to your nose, your left leg move away from you, and you'll go back and forth with your legs, back and forth. And opening up your hips. And then pause. And then we're going to do another scissor type movement, only the difference will be you'll bring one leg in front of the other and then switch and bring it in the opposite. You're going to go back and forth, one leg in front of the other, back and forth. And then bring both legs together. Bring your feet to the mat. Going to extend your left leg. Keep your foot flexed. You're going to bring your right knee towards your chest. Keep it over your hip. Your knee should be over your hip. And your ankle should be in line with your knee. Or it could be a little higher than your knee. Warrior one legs. Send your arms overhead, back behind you for warrior one. You're going to lift your head and shoulders just a little bit away from the mat to reach your arms up, back behind you, not up, overhead, back behind you. And then release your head and shoulders back to the mat. You're going to interlace your fingers, lift both arms over your shoulders, and then you will bring both arms inside your right leg and lift your head and shoulders for a humble warrior. That left foot is flexed. Your right leg is either at a right angle or lifted higher than your knee. And then release it. And bring your right foot to the mat. You're going to open up your right knee, sending it to the mat. And you're going to slide your left leg over to the left. Then you're going to open out your lower leg so that your ankle is in line with your knee. So again, you're not going to have a complete right ankle because your thigh won't be flat on the ground, but that's the idea, a warrior two legs. Send your arms straight out from your shoulders. Look over your right shoulder. Feel the power of this pose. Flex your left foot, flex your right foot. Imagine you're standing on the wall opposite your feet. Your shoulders are nice and square as they should be when you're standing. So this helps to pattern the pose, to give you the feeling of what it's like when you're standing. And then relax. Send your right leg back onto the mat. Same thing with the left. Your arms can be alongside your body. You're going to step on your left foot. Open your knee out to the left. Open your shin so that your ankle is under your knee. Your right foot is flexed. Your arms are alongside your ears, reaching back behind you. You're going to lift your right knee so that your knee is over your hip, your ankle in line with your knee. Your shin will be parallel with the mat, or you can lift your foot a little bit above your knee. On an inhale, you're going to lift your head and shoulders and your arms just a little bit away from the mat. Exhale, release. Interlace your fingers. You're going to inhale, and on an exhale, you're going to lift your head and shoulders, bring your arms inside your left leg, and bring your knee closer to your shoulder for a humble warrior. Release your arms, release your foot, release everything. Bring your legs stretched out on the mat, your arms alongside your body. Step on your left foot, open it out to the side, bring your ankle under your, in line with your knee, and send your right leg out to the side for warrior two legs. Your arms in the shape of a T. You're looking over your left arm. Flexing your right foot, flexing your left foot. Feeling the energy of warrior two. relax your body. Send your left leg long along the mat and bring your right leg in. And bring your arms alongside your body and just breathe for a moment. Send your right leg straight up over your hip, directly over your hip, your ankle over your hip. Your foot is flexed as if you were standing on the ceiling. Your left foot is flexed. Your legs are both energized and active. Your arms reach overhead behind you. Warrior 3. Imagine your right leg is stepping on the floor as it reaches for the ceiling, and your left leg is stretched out behind you, your arms alongside your ear, the pattern for Warrior 3. Long, straight torso and hips. When you're standing on the floor like this, you will be engaging your abdominal muscles. So now on an inhale, engage those abs just to feel them contract for you. And then exhale and release. Inhale, engage your abs. Exhale, release once more. Inhale, engage your abs. Exhale, release. Bring your right leg down to the mat. Leave your arms where they are. Left leg reaches up for the ceiling. Remember, ankle over hip. Feet are flexed. Warrior 3. Feel the power, again, of this pose as if you were standing on the floor on your left leg. Upside down, Warrior 3. Inhale, engage your abs and release. Inhale again and release once more. Engage your abs and release. Bring your leg back down to the mat. Bring your arms alongside your body. Press your shoulders into the mat and release. Press your shoulders and release. Place your feet on the mat and send them to either side, and so that you can come over like a fetal position. Bring your right or left arm in front of you and make your way up to sit. We're only going to stay here for a moment because we want to come onto our hands and knees. All right. Come to your perfect table, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips, arms rotated outward. You're looking down at the mat, so the crown of your head is going one direction, your sits bones in the opposite direction. On an inhale, you're going to curl your spine towards the mat. On an exhale, arch it to the sky. Continue with these cats and dogs at your own pace. Paying attention to the undulation of your spine, to the shape shifting of your spine. Next time your spine is arched to the sky, Send your hips to your heels to come into a child's pose. We're not going to stay here long, but let's rest for a moment in child's pose. And then you're going to come back up onto hands and knees. All right. Send your right leg back behind you, coming on the ball of your right foot. Lift your right leg hip high. Make sure your hips are even. This is important because we're about to do another patterning of Warrior Three. Send your right arm alongside your, your left arm alongside your left ear, your right leg back behind you. So even though it's only one arm straight out in front of you, this is another pattern for Warrior Three. Engage those abs because the purpose here is to keep your middle long and strong and straight. Your whole torso and your core muscles help you to do that. Bring your hand back down, bring your knee back down. Send your left leg back behind you. You're going to lift it up hip high, square your hips. Again, another thing that's important, because the way you lose your balance when you're standing is if one hip comes higher than the other. Right arm alongside right ear, a Warrior Three prep. Bring your hand down, bring your leg down. All right. So we're going to continue with that, and we're going to help. I'm talking about the importance of using your core muscles in the warrior poses. So send your right leg straight out behind you on the ball of your foot. Lift it up hip high. Left arm alongside left ear. All right, so let's work on that core. Bend elbow, bend knee. Elbow to waist, knee to nose. Elbow to waist. Exhale on the curl. Inhale when you stretch. Exhale, inhale, exhale. Inhale once more. Exhale, inhale, and bring it down. Left leg goes back. Lift it up hip high, call on your core, right arm alongside right ear. Hips even. Bend elbow, bend knee. Knee to waist. Elbow to waist, knee to nose. Sorry. And stretch. Exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale, inhale once more, exhale, inhale, come down to the mat, child's pose. All right, and let's make our way up to stand. All right. We're going to start in mountain as always. Get yourself Nice and strong in your mountain. Feel the crown of your head reaching for the heavens as you're rooted into the earth. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, gather. Exhale, bring your prayer to your heart. Inhale and exhale. All right. We'll start with our warriors. Inhale, exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway to a flat back. Exhale, fold. Send your right leg back behind you, placing your right foot flat on the mat. Your left knee is over your left ankle. Now, when Shiva called forth his warrior, he threw the oils from his body onto the earth, and up from the earth came warrior one. So let your arms swing back behind you and raise that warrior from the earth. Bring your hands into a prayer. Look up at your prayer. All warriors say a prayer before battle. Bring your prayer to your heart. Send your arms back behind you, Yoga Mudra. Brave heart, open it up. Knuckles to the earth, heart opening wide. Inhale, exhale. Bring your torso forward to a flat back for the beginning of humble warrior. Inhale, exhale once again, bringing the crown of your head towards the mat, your knuckles to the sky or straight back behind you for a devotional warrior. Bhakti Virabhadrasana 1. Press your feet into the mat. Bring yourself back up to your warrior one. Release your arms. Bring your arms overhead and then place them down on the mat, your hands on the mat, inside your left leg. Step your right foot opposite the arch of your right foot, opposite flat on the mat, opposite the heel of your left foot. You're going to place your right hand down. Oh no, I'm wrong. I'm sorry. Left hand down, right arm opens up, fans open. So your left hand is on the mat, your right is reaching for the sky. You're going to press into the mat with your feet. Press in so you can come straight up to warrior two. Knee over ankle. Bring your right hand to your right thigh. Look to your left hand. Lift it up for a peaceful warrior. Windmill your hands back down to the mat, come into a low lunge. Step your right foot forward, Uttanasana. Fly out and up and bring Anjali Mudra down to your heart. Okay, we will do that on the other side. Inhale, gather. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. Left leg goes back, warrior one, feet. Send your arms streaming alongside your hips and raise that warrior one up from the earth. Make sure your hips are as square as possible. Prayer before going into battle, look up at that prayer. Bring it to your heart. Arms swing back behind you, Yoga Mudra, brave heart, open up. Inhale, exhale, halfway. Humble warrior, square your hips. Inhale, exhale, devotional Virabhadrasana. Push into the mat, lift your knuckles up, come back up to stand. Release your arms. Spread your arms, windmill them back down to the mat. Step your left foot into warrior two. Foot. And you're going to fan open with your left arm. Twisting. Press into the mat. Warrior two. Let's take a little bit of time in this warrior two on this side. Your arms are straight out. You're looking over your right arm. And this warrior is the warrior that sizes up the challenge. So that any challenge you meet, you face, you can meet. Send your right arm up as your left arm goes down for a peaceful warrior. Back to warrior two. Don't forget your knee tracks over your middle toes. No collapsing of that knee. And now you're going to windmill your left hand down to the mat. Swivel to a low lunge. Step your left foot forward, Uttanasana. Fly out and up and down the center line. All right, excellent. So where was warrior one in that flow, you might be asking? Well, we're going to look at warrior three and the different ways of getting into it first before we do it. And if you have blocks, you'll place your blocks next to each other. You're going to stand far enough away so that when you bend over from your hips, you'll be in an L shape with your blocks underneath your shoulders. Right? And you will send your right leg back behind you. Now, when you do that, the tendency is to open up that hip, but this warrior three is a closed hip pose. So you want your big toe, all 5 toes, to be pointing to the mat. So your hips stay even. And then bring your foot back down. Let's go right to the other side. If you do not have blocks, you can also do this by placing your hands, your fingertips on the mat. Send your left leg out. Make sure it's straight and long. Your hips are square. Your toes, all 5 toes, facing the mat. And bring it down. Slide your hands towards your feet. Fly out and up. All right. All right. So another way of doing it. Now, in Warrior 3, what we know is that crown of the head to the foot is in a straight line, right? So you're arching, you're bending from, hinging from your hip. Your crown of your head goes straight out and heel of your foot goes the other way. So it's a long straight line. So as long as you maintain that line, you can play with Warrior. So send your right foot back behind you on the ball of your right foot. And keep the crown of your head on the same line as your heel. Let your arms stay down right now alongside your hip. You can bend your left knee. And as you lift your right leg, you'll bring your torso down long and straight. This may be as far as you go, and that's perfectly okay. You don't have to go horizontal. If this might help you do that, however, yeah, bringing your weight over your left foot, lifting and dropping, but on the same line. Right. So you go as far as you wish. Let's try that on the other side. On the ball of your left foot, you're going to come up high on the ball of your left foot, and your torso again goes in the same line as your left leg, and you may lift your leg any amount. It doesn't, you don't have to go horizontal, right? So any amount is good. So our final way of doing it, there are some other ways, but for the sake of time, maybe we'll do them on Friday, but is to use the chair, which I think is my favorite way to use of doing Warrior 3 with a prop. So you bring your hands to the back of the chair and you walk back and you keep walking back until you come to an L shape so that your ankles are under your hips. So move your feet around until they get there. I'm going to move this chair onto my mat because it's sliding. All right. So your ankles under hips, head inside arms. So your ears are lined up with your arms. You can put the heel of your hands on the back of the chair and send your fingers straight out. You might want to take a look to see what I'm talking about. And then you lift your right leg for Warrior 3. Remember that all 5 toes are facing the mat. And bring it down. Other side. Lift your left leg. All 5 toes. So this is your full Warrior 3. Now, using your abs, you might be able to release one arm, release the other, or not. Okay, so that's why the abs are so important, because it helps to hold you up, to keep you firm and strong. All right. So we're going to do our warrior 3 again. Only this time you will choose the warrior 3 you like best. I'm going to use the chair. Arms up alongside your ears, hinge from your hips. Reach for the back of the chair. Walk your hands back, your feet back to make sure you're in that L shape with your ears between your arms. So, whichever way you're doing it, you will lift your back leg. If you're doing that warrior, that's like a seesaw, that pivot, yeah, then both torso and back leg moves at the same degree. Release down. And let's try the other side. All right. Lift your left leg up. And bring it down. All right. Okay. So if you're if you're going to be here Friday, we'll work a little bit more on that. Or tomorrow in Gentle, we'll do a different variation of, we'll probably use the chair in that class for sure. And the blocks are good. Props are wonderful things. They lengthen your arms or raise the floor. They give you the ability to do a pose that's very challenging with some ease and make it accessible to everyone. So we're going to come down onto the mat now. Come all the way onto your back. Step on your feet. You're going to bring your knees into your chest. And place your hands on your knees, one hand on each knee. You're going to circle your knees like a single unit. So you're going to make circles with both your knees. And notice what's happening to your back. Notice how you're massaging your lower back here when you do that. And then pause and go the other way. And then bring your knees into your chest, hug them, and roll from side to side. Okay. And bring your feet to the mat. Press your shoulders into the mat, lift your heart like a warrior, and release one more time. Pressing your shoulder blades into the mat. Cross your right ankle over your left thigh, onto your left thigh. Bring your left knee into your chest. Right hand comes through that window, left hand wraps around. Both hands wrap around your left thigh. Fingers are interlaced. And push your right knee away with your elbow. Keep your right foot flexed. You can reach around your shin, and that might bring your knee a little closer. Then release your leg and straighten it. If you had your hands around your shin, straighten your leg to the sky and rotate your foot in both directions. And then point and flex, point and flex. And then bring your foot back to the mat, uncross your legs. And we'll do the other side, left ankle on right thigh. Right leg comes in, take the back of your right leg. If you want to wrap around the shin, you can do that. And then extend your right leg to the sky and rotate. Bend your right knee, uncross your left leg. If you have a block or a blanket, you press your feet into the mat, lift your hips, slide it under so that your sacrum comes right on the block or the blanket, and send your legs up to the sky for our inversion. Legs up against the wall, invisible wall. Bring your feet to the mat. Lift your hips. If you have something underneath them, remove it and bring your hips back down to the mat. Extend one leg and then the other to come into Shavasana. Arms rotated so your palms face upward, legs totally relaxed. Your whole body completely relaxed, assimilating all of the energy you generated in this practice, allowing your body to reset. Om Namah Shivaya. I surrender to transformation and welcome the changes that will lead me to who I am. Take a deep breath, beginning to reawaken your body. Roll your head from side to side. Make gentle movements with your hands and your feet. Send your arms back behind you and reach away with your arms and your hands, your feet and your legs go in the opposite direction for that full body stretch. The way we started and now the way we're ending. Bring your knees into your chest and hug them and roll from side to side. And then release your legs, roll on to whichever side you prefer to come into a fetal position. And then make your way up to sit. Bring your hands to your heart. I wish you a beautiful evening ahead of you, and I ask only that you remember our little lesson of the story of Virabhadrasana, and that is to never let your anger turn to hatred and never let your hatred turn to revenge, to always look inside for the answers to meet any challenge. Thank you so much for being with me tonight.